Do you really know what mental health is? Hey, Jason here. If you've been watching the channel, you've been seeing me go through the southern region of Africa. I'm currently in Botswana, and I'm actually on my way out of here within about 2 weeks or so. And most importantly, you've been seeing me talk about the 3 areas of life that I focus on, which are happiness, health, and wealth. And part of that is mental health. This is something that I really take very important. And most importantly, on top of that is I'm a wartime veteran, meaning I went to the Iraq War. I saw service in the war, saw things that no human being should have to see, and experienced something that no human being should have to experience. And so, because of that, mental health is something that I value very much. Um, But most people don't know because you're seeing the Jason now. You didn't see or know the Jason that was in the military. You didn't know the one came back from home after going to war. You didn't know the guy who was so angry he just didn't know how to communicate anymore. And yes, I'm in a better place. However, there's still other areas of life that I want to reach and obtain to. And what I've learned through these last years, about 9, 10 years to be exact, when I really started valuing my mental health and putting in the work to make it better, is there's higher steps you want to get to. Like once you start releasing some of these anger, some of these negative emotions, you want to just let them go and stay far away from them. Is you just start realizing, wait, this stuff doesn't serve me. It's toxic, and it's an energy that doesn't, help me reach my goals. And it took me leaving the United States and living life on my own terms for the first time, and that's how I figured that out. And I'm gonna be real with you. It was at such a high level. Things was going great. The businesses were going great. The marriage was going great because I was married at that time. And then all of a sudden, my wife Cece passed away in the middle of the night and took her final breaths in my arms, and it really set me back. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm still in a better place than where I was coming from the military, but it took me back. I started feeling these floods of emotions that, you know, I wasn't experiencing them that much anymore. And even though most people will be like, okay, you're okay, you have a right to feel a certain kind of way, feel a certain kind of pain and sadness. The truth is, each and every day you let that emotion just keep coming out and coming out, it becomes a habit, and then you just start finding yourself expressing only that emotion. And that's one of the things I've been working on a lot lately, especially with my anger and things like that. And it's funny because these low vibration emotions, they can come or conjure by so many different things. Because most of us have not been taught to, take a step back from scenarios when it's happening and analyze it from different perspectives. We're seeing it from just a narrow focal point. And usually that focal point is against something that you actually want to achieve. And this is most likely not helping you get there. So you're not seeing, okay, because it's not looking exactly how I want it, how can this be actually helping me? And so for me, like I started realizing it's Thanksgiving time. My anniversary would have been October of last month. So like I go through a level of depression every time around this year lately, the past 2 years now. And you may be like, oh, Jason, that's normal. It's still fresh. But like, I want to explain to you what mental health really looks like. Because a lot of us have this movie plot idea of, oh, that's bad mental health. And the truth is, most of us are walking around and we're not in the best mental health space. Because how much time a day do you even have to check in on your mental clarity, to start putting in some work on your mental health? If you're working a 9 to 5, most likely not much time at all. If you're a single parent, you probably don't even have time to think about yourself. Especially like how many single mothers have I met where they're putting all of their love and energy into their child. They don't have time to focus on their mental health or their happiness. And so that's why I want to actually walk you through how I'm improving my mental health to give you an honest interpretation of it. Not this crazy stuff that the movies show where someone has bad mental health issues if they're, in a straitjacket or trying to hurt themselves or others. That's taking a very small percentage of the population. And most of the times, those are drug induced states, or at least a lot of times, that we have to start looking at mental health for, like, what does it look like for the general people walking around, the average ordinary people like me, and maybe even like you. And so for us, we're not worried about that. We finna go on some rampage and do something crazy. But how often are we slipping into depression? How often are we slipping into the different levels of grief? And so, like today, I realized there's a level of grief that I never even realized existed until today. So that's the kids, they're singing some song. They just getting out of school. And so today I realized I'm experiencing loneliness. And you may be like, Jason, but you're traveling the world. You look like you're making friends. You're usually out and about with people. Yes. But what you don't see is the person that I truly want to be with, I can't be with. There's no question about that. I can't bring her back from the dead. I can't be with her. It's impossible. And, even though, yes, I'm traveling, I'm in a whole new continent, I'm going to different countries, being exposed to things I've never been exposed to before. And yes, it's fun. But loneliness it creeps in, and it creeps in a lot. And sometimes you may not even be aware that it's creeping in. And so I want to walk you through just a little bit of how it creeps in with me and talk about it from that perspective. And so, oh, dang, they already here. And so, I'm going to be back. Somebody just came. Okay, so I am back. Sorry about that. And so, yeah, so for loneliness, like, what actually is it? And one of the reasons I think a lot of psychiatric care, especially when we're talking about a mental health perspective, a lot of these things are overlooked, is because you can't truly be aware of something unless you've gone through it to get the understanding of it. Reading things from books is not enough. And I feel this is why a lot of the mental health facilities and the mental health practices right now, they're not working the way they should be working, because the people who are practicing them, they're not actually working on their own mental health issues, because we're looking at things from a very polarized perspective of either you're a normal functioning human being or you have a GAF score under 30, and then you're at a place where you're a danger to not only yourself but to others. And we're forgetting that wide gap in between. And that wide gap in between is where we experience most of our emotions. Most of us are not going to the side of the scale to where we are extremely depressed, we're trying to hurt ourselves or hurt others. And at the same instance, most of us are not at the place where we're extremely happy and living the life of our dreams. So what does it look like in between? You may have things such as anger, guilt. You may be afraid. And loneliness is a big one of it also, especially if you're someone who's lost a spouse or lost a partner. And let's go ahead and just get into it. And this is why I call loneliness the hidden stage of grief. Because if all of our happiness from every mindset book you read around the world, no matter what language, it's going to tell you all of our happiness comes from within. From within, we are the only ones that can make ourselves happy. No one and nothing outside of us can do that. That's the one thing that we have free control over, which is free will. However, why do we experience the emptiness inside when we lose someone or lose some things? Like I can tell from past experiences with my brother Jerome, who passed away, how when he used to get his cars repossessed, he felt loneliness. He felt that emptiness from losing that item. So the thing about loneliness, it doesn't just equate to, two physical people. It can equate to things also, like what are we making these spiritual attachments to? And so, like, how did I figure this out? It's because one, I do a lot of psychoanalysis of myself. I do a lot of books reading about psychology. I read a lot of New Age psychology books, especially from Dr. Joseph Murphy and a couple of other people also. And also, like, big thanks is to my late wife, Cece. She taught me how to start doing it. She was a licensed clinical social worker and had her doctorate degree around acceptance commitment therapy, which she helped use to help me to get over a lot of the trauma from the Iraq War. And subsequently, it helped me with a lot of childhood trauma. And it's helping me now to get over the trauma of, the person you love dying in your arms out of nowhere, which is crazy. And so for me, I've noticed that I'll have high peaks of excitement. I'm having a good time, having enjoyment. And then it's like this hole just start getting wider and wider around me. And I start going to this place where I'm not finding enjoyment on a lot of things that I normally do, such as even walking around or, you just find yourself complaining. And so, like, I realized that one, why is this happening? Two, what is it? And then three, what is it that I can personally do to help, get rid of this situation? And the thing about getting rid of it, and this is the part that I think most of us need to focus on, is how can you get that stagnant energy? Loneliness is a vibration. Everything about us is a vibration, and you want to vibrate at the highest level possible. And loneliness is one of those lower vibrations. It's not as low as anger and fear, but it's still low enough to stop you from taking movement on the things that you want. And I noticed it was stopping me from taking action on just simple things. Like I wasn't doing my meditations each and every day. I wasn't doing my scripting work each and every day. I was even making excuses not to do my exercise every day. And I started looking, and I'm like, dude, I got 24 hours in the fucking day. Like, why can't I do a 30-minute workout? Why can't I script for 10 minutes? Why can't I meditate for 3 minutes, damn it? And I started realizing it was allowing me to make excuses. It was allowing me to start procrastinating. And if you're someone who's probably procrastinating something like that, find out what the root cause of that energy is. Because I'm noticing when I'm in my high workflow states, when I'm writing my books, when I'm just in these energetic zones and I'm happy, like I don't procrastinate. I just do what I want to do. And I get it done very fast and very efficiently. And so, like, really think about it. If you're someone who procrastinates, is there maybe loneliness, anger, fear, things like this? What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna see if I can find if I still have the diagram. I'm gonna post it on TikTok. So if you haven't followed me on TikTok yet, make sure you do it. Jason Chaney 777. And what I'm gonna do is it shows the energy levels, but also which emotions vibrate or which frequency each emotion is. You can see how your energies such as happiness, enjoyment, gratitude, they operate at a different color spectrum than your emotions such as anger, grief, fear, things of that nature, sadness, depression. All of those operate at a lower level. And those things all have to do with how do we manifest the life of our dreams. Sometimes we are the ones that's actually slowing down us being able to live the life that we're dreaming about. And so I just wanted to share that with you. Let me get up out of here. And just remember this, I'm Jason, and success is simple once you know how.